make sure that we sound like our city. I want to thank the committee for putting our name forward. As I say, it's humbling and surprising, but it's wonderful, and it's great to see you all here this evening as well. Thank you so much.
So you see, he's not just a pretty voice.
The most important thing about Matt, which you don't know, is that he's from York. Our final award for the evening is the Inspiration Spirit Award for Poetry and Social Justice. It is often thought that the aura of the poet laureate and the mystic and the creative artist completely overshadowed what Tagore perhaps strove for most passionately and despaired over the most, the quest for justice and equality. Like all creative souls, Tagore remained deeply dissatisfied with his inability to hear and voice the injustice he was surrounded by, with war and colonialism on the one hand and the rigid social cleavages on the other. In one of the last poems of his life, How Little I Know of This World, he sends out a call for the poet of the New Age, who he describes just thus: "Come, O poet of the New Age, lead me to those hearts far away, those hearts yet so near. I have known them from the corner of my renown, but I have failed to enter their intimate precincts. I know, therefore, my song basket is empty, filled with mere trinkets where the links are gone between life and life. She who lives close to the earth, it is that poet's voice I wish to hear. In literature's joyful feast, I search for what I myself cannot provide." We believe Tagore would have appreciated deeply what Dion Rand has brought to literature's joyful feast. We have been deeply moved by the poignancy of her language, by the vast array of human relations she has brought to us through her poetry. On the one hand, her poetry deeply interrupts all our notions of boundary, identity, and place. On the other hand, her depictions of Toronto and Canada give us a sense of belonging, of togetherness, of shared experiences of injustice that we readily embrace. We have also been inspired by her campaign, Poetry is Public, which she launched when she was Toronto's Poet Laureate. She's the winner of the Griffin Poetry Prize in 2011, the Governor-General's Award in 1997, the Toronto Book Award in 1996, the Harbourfront Festival Prize, and many other awards. She's perhaps the best-known voice of social justice in poetry in Canada. Dion Rand. Our inspiration.
Thanks for this unexpected and tremendous honor. Thank you very much, Ananya, for doing that. It was out of the blue and like a poem, a beautiful thing. So I want to thank you and the Tagore Anniversary Celebration Committee for thinking of me and inviting me here. And in thanks for that, I first want to invoke that famous poem of Tagore, a poem I think I encountered perhaps when I was 12 or so, and naturally I didn't understand it, but it had a certain sound to it, a certain tambour. Though barely understanding it, I understood it instinctively, the way one understands a poem, as doing a kind of restorative and interrogative work at one and the same time. And that was the poem Freedom, and I just want to read it here for you. Freedom from fear is freedom I claim for you, my motherland. Fear the phantom demon shaped by your own distorted dreams. Freedom from the burden of ages, bending your head, breaking your back, blinding your eyes to the beckoning call of the future. Freedom from shackles of slumber, wherewith you fasten yourself to night's stillness, mistrusting the stars that speak of truth's adventurous path. Freedom from the anarchy of destiny, whose sails are weakly yielded to blind, uncertain winds, and the helm to a hand ever rigid and cold as death. Freedom from the insult of dwelling in a puppet's world, where movements are started through brainless wires, repeated through mindless habits, where figures wait with patient obedience for a master of show to be stirred into a moment's mimicry of life. Those last lines may be written today, I think. I think we all recognize those brainless wires, the mimicry of life. It resonates in today's massive technologies, I think, so dedicated to the consumption of the utter consumption of everything and the capitalizing of every square meter of air. And I am still understanding this poem, still trying to act on its urgencies, still trying to enter the possible world and life the poem calls to. Finally, let me humbly offer a poem of my own in solidarity with and in response to Tagore's telegram, as Ananya spoke of it earlier, in which he wrote of his grateful appreciation of the breadth of understanding which has brought the distance near, the distant near, and has made a stranger a brother. 100 years later, we are perhaps not so distant, of course, though we are still constantly discovering that we are not strangers at all. So I want to read you a small poem from a book of mine called Inventory. And I wrote it when I went to Cairo just after the Iraq War. I wanted to be in the world. I was in Toronto, having listened to the atrocious broadcast and wanting to be close to the world and with other people. And I walked into a small shop in the market, in Han El Halili market in Cairo, and this is a poem that came from that encounter. Something else more happened there. Once, among the silversmiths, among the old work of ornamentation, the shining pane of metal and hammer, a voice called to me, "Welcome back, cousin." Familiar like the sound of water, rain on a roof, or the sea outside a door. Welcome, cousin. It's been a long time. We have a lot to talk about. You could be a spy from Upper Egypt. Come back alone tomorrow. We have a lot to say to each other. And yes, he could have been my cousin, and was. In that whole place with everything for sale, he tried to sell me nothing, only our genealogy needing to be polished, spun over so much suspicion and time. The silver on the shelves were worthless between us. He smelled of some perfume, some secret room that thunder makes when it claps and moves across skies, of dust that ants accumulate, going about the long business of gnawing the world away, and sand, so fine, its air. I wanted to go back, take his hand, eat from it, but that would be another life, and all our rumors would collide, and take that moment away from us when he called me cousin, when cousin came from both our mouths, and was a warning and a lie, and a soft meeting and a love. All the time I remained in Cairo, his papery voice caressed my cheek, though I never returned to this small silver place. And then I think he might have disappeared, never existed, or never called me cousin. That word is more than father, sister, brother, mother, clasping what is foreign, whole. All the time, nevertheless, I left him to himself. The ringing metal of his shop, the bracelets, ankles, rings done, he said, in the old ways, the speckles of our gentleman on his tongue and brow, his slippers on the wooden floor, the time, you know, when something falls so perfectly from your hands. I needed nothing from the market after that. No scarves, no perfume bottles, no nuts, no directions to all the gates of Cairo, no souvenirs of ancient Egypt, other than the time we'd spent in some life before and since. This charm of ours, as I said before, it meets you sometimes on a hot mountain road or in a cool silver shop. Its startling purposes, its imperishable beckoning grace, so unexpected, so merciful. So thank you very much.
Thank you again to all of you for those beautiful words. This brings this segment to close, but I have a couple more announcements to make. First of all, I want to thank again our supporters and our awardees, and I also want to make a special mention of Dr. Shan and Jaya Chandrasekhar, who are not here today, but many of you know they are the founders of ATN, and ATN has become quite a forum for the community and a voice which did not exist before. So I want to take this, since we are speaking of community and voice, I want to take this moment to thank them as well. We will now go into intermission, and we should be back here for the third and final segment of the evening at about 8:35. And the final segment of the evening, as you know, is a dance theatre production based on Tagore's play Chandalika, which we have translated as A Woman's Quest. And we would request that we need actually all of you to leave the auditorium unless you have any special mobility issues, because we need to set up the stage for the third segment. So we should go into intermission. Before that, I want to thank everybody again. Our Provost Lenton, Mr. and Mrs. Jayachandranani, John, Matt, Glenn, Jay, and Dion. That was a lovely, lovely evening. Thank you. To begin our final presentation, one request, please do keep your cell phones off at all times.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our final event of the evening. Chandalika, a woman's quest. Chandalika is one of Tagore's timeless tales. Written in 1933, it speaks to the impossible choice a woman has to make between love and justice. The storyline is based on a Buddhist folk tale, and it was set in the ancient Indian city of Sravasti. Prakriti is a young woman who rebels against the injustice she faces. And suddenly into her life comes Ananda, a recluse. Ananda gives her the recognition she has been fighting for forever. An overjoyed Prakriti falls in love with him. What follows is a powerful journey of rebellion and pain, of desire and transformation, through which Prakriti continues her quest for love and justice. The immediate context of the story is the caste system in India. But Tagore's canvas, as always, is much, much larger.
Welcome to Shravasti, a city in India. Here lives Prokriti, a young girl, and her mother. They live in the margins of Shravasti, in a tiny little hut. Everyone calls them Chandalika, the untouchable women. They are not allowed to enter the city temple or any public place. Neither can they draw water from the public well.
যে তুই চণ্ডালী সেই কথাই তো
Oh, the power a drop of water can have. As Ananda accepts water from Prakriti, she comes to realize that she had been right all along. Right to question the way in which her society treats her. Prakriti is enthralled, overwhelmed. There is someone in this world who sees her as she sees herself. Someone who gives her the dignity that is constantly denied to her.
Thank you.